Hi there everybody. On this video I have this BMW e87. This is a 1 Series 118 and the vacuum pump is leaking. The vacuum pump is leaking oil and then it's dripping onto the exhaust and causing a lot of horrible smell coming into the car. So I'm going to remove it and put some new O-rings and some sealant around it. To get to it, it's a little bit tricky, but I mean, I've already removed the section here that is to do with the pollen filter, and this is just held in by two 8mm screws. There's one there and then another one on the other side, and then you have to remove, just unplug this connector, and this literally pulls out, and the wires, the cables disconnect from here. And also you have to remove this. This has got 4, 5, 6 8mm screws as well, and then these are the wires that are plugged into it. Then you lift that metal piece out and it comes out. It's just plugged into this rubber here, which is come out a little bit. And then also you need to just move these retainers out of the way to be able to release that piece. There's also some little plastic covers sitting on the side here. That's the cable there. There's these little covers. They just come out, just unplug them from the sides. There's nothing really to it. There will be one here, and again this little retainer will be holding it, and it will be plugged in there. Take it out the other side. And then I removed a bolt from here. Just remove that bolt there. Just got a star type of head. I use one of these for that. This is size 14, and that's just give me a little bit of way here to remove this cover. So I'm gonna take this out as well. I already removed as well, and then we can take this cover out. So that cover is just plugged in, and then you need to fiddle this out of there, basically. For which I may just need my 2 hands. Okay, so I lifted this up a little bit, and then that cover can be removed without moving anything else. Just make sure this bar doesn't touch this positive here. If you move it a little bit, I mean, this has got that cover, but if you haven't got the cover, then you are exposed there. Now the vacuum pump is sitting right there. That there is the vacuum pump, and we need to remove some 10mm bolts that are holding it. So it is a little bit tricky. Also need to get this out. If we press that on there, we'll be able to pull this hose here. But again, I will probably need my 2 hands to do that. Okay, so once you push that little white clip there, this will come out. This is connected to the vacuum pump, so we are going to need this to come out with the pump. Now the fiddly part here is that you need to get your hand down there and undo those 10mm bolts that are holding this pump in place. So I have a small ratchet with a 10mm here. It'll be probably very difficult to really film down here, but just to give you an idea of and even this ratchet here, this might just about fit actually. So I just got it on one of the 10mm. Just about see that. Now we need to undo it. It's a little bit tricky because we have those the brake lines there. Okay, so that's usually once you loosen them out, you can do them by hand. But you do need to have a very tiny hands to access the space here, or just skinny fingers. I'm not sure how to describe that, but anyway, that's one of the bolts. That's what they look like. And there is 3 of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. There's another one at the bottom and another one on the right hand side. Okay, I managed to get the 3 bolts out. Now that pump can slide backwards a little bit and come out. You just have to be careful not to drop it, although it doesn't really drop all the way, but just want to avoid any issues. So that's where the pump is, just here. I'm going to wiggle this out. I'm just using a small screwdriver here just to push it a little bit gently. It's already loose. I can feel it moving. Okay, now that's come out. And now we have to wiggle this out of there to this pipe. Okay. That's the pump there. And basically it drips oil. You can just see it a little bit wet there, but when it gets hot it starts dripping oil, and that oil goes down to the exhaust. Now it does look like somebody's already done it, because I can see this extra gasket here, but I'm not sure the correct gasket type was used. I don't normally use a gasket on this end. I only use a gasket for inside of here, but it looks like it's leaking. When I saw it, when I checked it, it was leaking from here. And that is also another place we need to open and change the gasket in there, and also we're going to apply some sealant. So some sealant has already been applied here, but maybe either not enough, or maybe they didn't change the actual gasket in there. Another thing to remember when we fit this back, this has to line up with the camshaft back, so you'll be able to feel it with your hand in which what angle it is, and then you will line this up accordingly. It's not really too bad, but now let's strip this and prepare it. So we also need to open these Torx screws here. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so I just got the pump here on the vise. Just holding it there a little bit. I'm going to open these Torx screws. So I'm using a T25 and I'm going to clean that. Just make sure you clean it properly so we can seal this nicely, and you won't have to do it again. You won't have to do it again in a while. So just make sure the whole surface is nice and clean. You can use some emery paper or something like that to rub it down. And then we're also going to remove this O-ring here. So I'm just going to dispose of that. And you want to clean this bit inside here as well. A little bit of the of oil, burnt oil, stays in here. It's probably what causes the leak to begin with. Some of the burnt oil starts building up here, maybe disturbing the gasket. The sealant that we're going to use is a high temperature sealant. And the new O-rings or new gaskets, you can buy them from BMW. They're not really that expensive. And I'm going to rinse this with some brake and clutch fluid cleaner. So just cleaning this whole area here. Just using a little bit of this sandpaper just make sure all this area is nice and clean from any old residual, even the inside bit here. Okay, so that's nice and clean. I've got this surface as well, kind of clean. Okay, so just getting rid of all that carbon that formed in there. And now I'm gonna get the O-rings. Okay, so this is the sealant that I'm using. I didn't get this from BMW, but it is for that. It's a vacuum pump repair kit. And it comes with the 2 O-rings that we need. So just gonna fit that one in there. And I got some high temperature sealant here, which I'm just going to put around here. Okay, don't need to use excessive amounts, just enough to seal the area, and then we can put this plate back here. Just get it on the right way around. Also make sure these screws go in the correct way. Just screw them on a little bit by hand. You will know if they are going in the right way, because if they are going in the wrong way, you won't be able to put them on by hand. Don't over tighten these. I'm only using a small ratchet, and I'm not quite holding it from the back. So I'm not really using that much force on them. Don't want to break them or damage or anything. Because I can carry on going. That's the thing. I can keep tightening this, but they will just either damage the thread or break up here. So like I said, we want to avoid doing any of that, so we avoid all the extra work. Now with this end here, also make sure you clean all this area, all this surface here, and then we are going to fit the new O-ring. Okay, I've got the new O-ring, and this O-ring may look like it doesn't fit. It looks like it's a little bit bigger, but it's not. You just have to fit it in that circle there. It will fit. Just a little fiddle, but it does fit. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of this just to be double sure here. And that's it. We are ready to refit this back in the car. Okay, so I've got the pump here, and I'm just gonna get it in there. Have to fiddle this back in there. And like I said, we need to line up that little thing there. So this is more of something that we need to fill with. You have to fill the back of the camshaft, and just more or less see at what angle that is. Okay, so that's the idea anyway. So I'm going to try to, it is a bit of a fiddle doing it. Okay, so that pump is just gone in there. It's sitting in there now nicely, so I'll be able to put the bolts back in. You can rotate it a little bit if the holes don't line up. You can just rotate it slightly. But that's it. I got one of the bolts in there. This is now sitting in there quite properly. You will be able to see if it's not sitting in there. So if it's not sitting in there, you'll notice, because it will be sticking out a little bit. But in this case, it's just gone in there, and the gasket is squashed a little bit, so you can just about see the edge of it. And now it's just a matter of fitting the bolts back and everything else back. So I hope this video helps if you have to do that, but at least you won't get any more oil dripping onto your exhaust and that horrible smell. There is another known leak on this engine. Well, it's quite a few actually. The rocker cover gasket, this here as well. You can see all this area is wet. There is a little O-ring underneath this, which I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to clean it and put some sealant. And also the van nose tends to leak, but those are for another day. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in another video.